Once again, there has been a ton of new information on Super Mario Party Jamboree recently dropping. Between the overview trailers and the Japanese website updating, there's a lot more to go over once again. So ahoy folks, and welcome to another Toon-Tris analysis. If you haven't already checked out my previous in-depth analysis on the game, make sure you do, because I'm only going to be covering the new details here. So with that out of the way, Ritz, grab the magnifying glass, because we're going to comb through everything we can to find every secret, hidden detail, and anything else worth mentioning. First, let's go through the overview trailers and go over anything worth pointing out. Here in Rainbow Galleria, as Mario gets this star, we can see the shop on the opposite side of the map, which is specifically this shop over here. And we can make out 3 items on display that are likely for sale here. You know, if you stop on the event spaces. The super creepy dice, that mirror, which many of you pointed out to me is likely for trading places with other opponents, and what may be a warp pipe, but upon closer inspection, it actually looks like a bright green version of the dueling glove. So perhaps it's another new item, allowing players to duel for something other than coins. Maybe each other's items, or maybe even stars. Probably called the Super Dueling Glove, or something like that. And it is worth noting that since these items are on display next to a shop that you can actually land on and interact with, everything in this window is most certainly available to obtain, as opposed to, say, this window down here, which is purely decorative. Next, as we go over the 7 boards that we've already seen, there's a change here. This section down here isn't just a damaged wall anymore, now we can see it's damaged because a bruiser is punching it, and this is significant. Both King Bowser's Keep and Western Land in earlier shots are under construction, so if there's something else here that's under construction, could that mean there really is an 8th board? Or maybe it's tied to something to do with the single player mode, which we'll come back to later. But either way, right now, seeing that this wall is actively being punched by this bruiser is interesting, and hopefully we'll learn what it means soon. Next up, when the high tide occurs in Goomba Lagoon, we can see what happens if a player gets caught on a flooded path. Lakitu swoops in to save them and brings them to another space, and it doesn't look like they lose any coins or anything though. Next, we have Yoshi's Showdown minigame, officially called Yoshi's Mountain Race. We see a bit more of this Yoshi race in action, and we also get to see Yoshi's ally ability, which copies an opponent's item when passing them. And we can also see that you can choose 30 turns in gameplay, and a little bit later, we see 15 turns as well, both of which I speculated in the previous analysis, so it's good to get confirmation on them here. But back to allies, we also see 8 different allies shown off on boards, including on Mario's Rainbow Castle and Western Land. So yes, they can appear on the classic boards as well. So these 8, plus Yoshi and DK shown off in earlier clips, would make for all 10 Jamboree buddies as outlined in my previous analysis. Next up, we get a look at the item shop in Roll'em Raceway, where we can see that you can also get turbo dice for 12 coins, not just at the pit stop. And mushroom coupons can be bought for 6 coins, which is interesting. Next up at King Bowser's Keep, as Bowser gets a star, we can see another skeleton key door back here by this warp pipe, which would place it way back here in the left. And we can also see there's a boo over here, which would be about here on the full map. Moving on to the 3 motion-controlled modes, we have the Paratroopa Flight School, which is the winged mode we saw in the original trailer. Players flap their arms to move around, collecting coins, parabiddy buds, and working with a friend to carry NPCs to different locations. And there's 3 different ways to play this mode. It looks pretty neat, but there's not much else to say about it. So we move on to Toad's Item Factory, where players work together to move mechanisms in a puzzle to guide a marble to the end goal, in 30 total stages. It feels like an eShop exclusive puzzle game, or something small like Mario vs. Donkey Kong, but it does seem like a cute co-op mode. And for the 3rd mode, we have the Rhythm Kitchen. This is the rhythm game mode that we've pointed out a few times before, and we get a look at several different rhythm minigames here. This one in particular, with Waluigi dancing as he spices the stew, is just really silly. Also, special little shout out to these cute Yoshi chefs up here. Next up, the narration in the overview trailer says, up to 8 friends can team up to play online in both modes, referring to Bowser Kaboom Squad and Koopathlon. So, despite being 20 players, can you only play Koopathlon with 8 friends? That seems a little strange. Is it 20 players when playing online with randoms? Surely it's not 8 real players and 12 computers all the time. That would be a little bizarre. Maybe it's 20 players online with randoms, or maybe even with a room code, but if you're specifically connecting with friends, it's only 8? It's hard to say right now, but I really hope there isn't a silly restriction like that. That would be kinda disappointing. Moving on, we get another look at the Bruiser event space in Roll'em Raceway, chasing Goomba past the star space. And then we get a look at Rosalina's Showdown minigame, where you're snowboarding in a race against her while she flies on ahead. There are star bits floating around the area, and I'm pretty sure it takes place on Rosalina's ice world, given the overall aesthetic. So at this point, the only ally minigames we haven't seen in action are Peach and Wario's. Next, let's take a look at the updates to the Japanese website. One notable detail comes from this shot of the islands, which we can see is early in the game since Bowser's Keep and Westernland are under construction. There's a thwomp up here on the left, who isn't normally here. So could this mean anything? Also, on the minigame page, there's now a section indicating that there are 25 motion control minigames in the game, which utilize a single Joy-Con controller. If we're talking strictly minigames and not whole side modes, and we ignore the 10 rhythm minigames from Rhythm Kitchen, then that makes for 15 motion control minigames you can encounter in standard Mario Party gameplay. Minigames that then wouldn't appear in online play or when playing with Pro controllers. But the biggest detail of the Japanese website is the single player mode, which is accessed from the main hub island from this section with Kamek. In this mode, you walk around all the different board maps helping set up for the party, and by helping different characters, you're rewarded with mini stars. You know, the main currency from Mario Parties 9 and 10. You can see how many mini stars remain on each map in the upper left, just below the main counter. Sometimes you'll be delivering items, and other times you'll play minigames, and more. When all the mini stars are obtained on a map, everything goes dark. My guess is this is when a boss appears. So boss battle minigames would complete each board, with the giant Stingbee that we've seen before being the boss of Mega Wiggler's Tree Party. The 4 base boards get a boss, and then Imposter Bowser in King Bowser's Keep for the 5th boss. And then Westernland and Mario's Rainbow Castle wouldn't have bosses. The single player mode is also likely how the 3 boards and 2 characters get unlocked, since it's all about setting up for the party. This mode reminds me a lot of Mario Party Advance, with wandering around the boards and helping people out. Plus, using the mini-stars in a creative way is really interesting too. Jamboree is really starting to feel like a celebration of a ton of different ideas that the Mario Party identity has used over the decades. Finally, there was also an official Japanese article released that gives us even more details. First, stamps, or reactions. This article confirms there are 109 in total, which is a weird number, but still quite a lot. So if there's 22 playable characters, each with 3 stamps, then that makes for 66 of them. And we've counted 37 others that we've seen so far, which added together makes for 103. So that means there should be about 6 that we've yet to see. Next, the Mario Party cards. We speculated about these before based on the screen with Mario Party points, but now we know more about them. Using party points, you can buy card designs and different stickers to decorate the cards with. The card designs look to be based on different boards and minigame locations, and there's a variety of stickers too. Most of these renders are reused from older games, though Mario's is a new version of his 3D World render, and Rosalina's is a render that we've never actually seen in a game before, but has been in some marketing material. The party cards also display some other info as well. In the lower right is the total playtime, and in the lower left looks to be achievement titles that we can set. So the info is pretty similar to the cards from Mario Party Superstars, but the visuals have more customization options. Finally, the championship rules. This is a brand new rule set that might as well be Mario Party's competitive tournament rule set. That's right everyone, we have a Mario Party version of For Fun and For Glory. So what's there to know about the championship rule set? How is it different from the normal one? Well, the number of turns are fixed to 12, and only 1 bonus star is awarded at the end, and it seems the specific bonus star is announced at the start of the round, and it'll likely be one of these 3. The movement star, which is awarded to the player that moves the most spaces, the event star, which is awarded to the player that lands on the most event spaces, or the slow star, awarded to the player that moved the least amount of spaces. You can also choose to start the game with one of these items: a mushroom, creepy dice, warp block, pipe, chomp call, 10 coin trap, or cellular shopper, which is another item last seen in Mario Party 3 that lets you call the shop and order an item. In terms of other differences in this rule set, The shops on the board map have a limited stock on their items, so once they sell out, they're done. Lucky spaces, rather than giving a roulette for a good outcome, you manually choose between two options, either gaining 10 coins or getting a double dice. Bowser looks to guarantee taking a star away from whoever lands on the space. All of these options here are just different phrases equating to lose 1 star. The article also says that the number of coins stolen by Boo is a fixed amount, and no hidden blocks appear. There may be more, but these are all of the details outlined in the post. As a last little note, between the cellular shopper and the green dueling glove, combined with all of the other items I went over in the previous analysis, that should be all the items known in the game. And with that, that is everything I could find from the recent drop of new information on Super Mario Party Jamboree. After last week's huge analysis, I thought there would be more time before the next analysis for the game. Plus, I thought I was already the most hyped I could possibly be for this game. Evidently, I was wrong, because the new information here is really cool. The single player mode looks like fun, and the championship mode has me really excited. Competitive Mario Party is awesome, so seeing Nintendo release an official rule set that could be used in tournaments and more is so cool. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts, or if you found something I missed, down in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and make sure to subscribe for plenty more gaming goodness from me. It all really helps out a ton. But until next time, farewell everyone.